After watching NBA highlights of Rudy Gobert and getting a better understanding of the player, my question is, does Rudy Gobert work? Let's get into it. Rudy Gobert was recently traded for Malik Beasley, Pat Bev, Leandro Balmoro, the 22nd of 2022 draft round pick, which ends up being Walker Kessler and Jarrett Vanderbilt, alongside the 2023, 2025, 2027, and 2029 first round picks from the Timberwolves, alongside a 2026 pick swap. In my opinion, that's an overpay for what Rudy Gobert is and what Rudy Gobert can do for the team. Now, on paper, Rudy looks great. He's, number 2 in rebounds, number 13 in offensive rebounds, number 3 in defensive rebounds, number 4 in blocks. His plus minus is 12th in the league at 5.2, and his win shares are 8.3, which puts him at 6th in the league. The problem is how is he going to fit with his team, and what is the long-term implications for the Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert? Mind you, they basically mortgaged their at least half of the next decade for one player who was already 29 to 30 years old when they brought him in, and will be 35 or closing on 36 years old when his contract ends. On top of that, the draft picks that they sent off to Utah will end up overextending his contract in the long run. So, does Rudy Gobert really fit this team? I mean, considering Towns is on a big contract, you also have D'Angelo Russell on a big contract, and now you have Rudy Gobert. I don't think it's going to fit very well. First, Rudy Gobert is already on a large contract, like I mentioned before. He's offensively inept, and the best way I can describe Rudy Gobert is he fails the eye test. Now, he's a stat nerd's dream defensively. Like, he checks off pretty much every mark you can think of. But when you look at how he plays and how he fits on offense as a total basketball player, because remember, basketball isn't one side of the ball or the other side of the ball. It's a whole game. He fails the eye test. Offensively, he's extremely limited. He's usually relegated to putbacks, simple short passes for a layup because the defense overcommitted to a player, or dunk. Foot 1 with the equivalent wingspan of someone that's 7'9", and he got his dunk blocked. That's not the guy I want to commit 5 years and hundreds of millions, $215 million to. And as I mentioned before, what's his fit? Like I said, he's offensively inept, and considering that he's playing alongside Karl-Anthony Towns, who's basically the complete polar opposite of him, what do you do? Honestly, what do you do? One of the big things about Karl-Anthony Towns is he can pretty much cover all three layers of offense. He's a good short-range shooter, good mid-range shooter, good long-range shooter. Good rebounder. If anything, the only shortcoming to him as a basketball player is defensively he's a bit lackluster. But outside of that, that's it. But running a Twin Towers offense in 2022 seems, I don't know, counterintuitive to what the rest of the league is going towards. The rest of the league seems to be going to either smaller lineups that can shoot, or lineups that have centers that can do it all, pretty much like Joker or Embiid, or, like I mentioned before, Cat. And then you have this basically a dinosaur of a player, Gobert, and you're putting them on the same team as Cat. And my guesstimation is they're going to move Cat to the power forward position, but then that entails a bunch of other problems. Once you move him to the power forward position, he loses a layer of his scoring because Gobert's basically that's all he can score at. Gobert's going to basically be either in the paint or around the paint. So that eliminates a pretty important facet to what makes Karl-Anthony Towns a great player. Let alone what the rest of the team is doing. Then now you have to tell your offense from a center who can pick and pop, a center who can be an alley-oop partner, a center you can run the pick and roll with, and legitimately scare defenses with.
What are you doing?
Who can set your hits. Not gonna say. In conclusion, I feel like this is one of the worst trades in NBA history, especially considering the amount of draft picks the Timberwolves sent to the Utah Jazz. I feel like Rudy Gobert is a very talented player, but he's a terrible fit for this team. And I feel that if anything, he's going to be basically an offensive liability in the way of the rest of the offense in the sense of Karl-Anthony Towns. He has the ability and the skill set to possibly succeed there, but unless he improves his offensive prowess, probably gets a jump shot, and learns a way of the offense that doesn't seem so, for lack of better words, timid in comparison to his contemporaries, this trade is going to be awful, and it's not going to work out. Like, share, and subscribe for more NBA and NFL content. Thanks for watching.